Hi there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to point a subdomain or a domain name into the IP address for your online academy using EDUonGo. So let's say you have a website that's called Udemy. So this is the homepage of Udemy, and if I click on see our course catalog, this will take me into the course catalog that is hosted in the cloud using EDUonGo. But if you notice at the top, it says courses.udemy.com. So it has a subdomain that's created, and that subdomain is pointing in the cloud IP address of EDUonGo. So I'm gonna demonstrate in this video how you can create a subdomain and point that using the GoDaddy registrar system. So in here I have onlinecourses.udemy.com. Let's go ahead and create that and point this one to the IP here below. So if I go to my GoDaddy account, I have already logged in. And then if you have more than one domain, click on this plus sign that will expand the list of your domain names. And then I'll click on launch for udemy.com. This will enter the control panel of this domain name. Now in here you will have three different tabs: settings, DNS zone file, and then contacts. Do not add a host name here. A lot of people come here and manage host names and they create a new host name. You don't have to do that, okay? Or subdomains and things of that nature. So do not touch this part at all. Go ahead and click on DNS zone file. Here is the DNSs that are already, so the domain name servers, okay? That are already created by default. So you should have the default one, which is the root domain. That is, in my case, udemy.com. So if I go to udemy.com, that is pointing to a different hosting server, which is hosting this web page, okay? And that is the first one here that you see, that's the root, and then here's the IP that is for my website. However, below that, I have created another host. Notice we're talking about a host here, right? So I've created another host and I named that courses, and I point that to a different IP address. And then here you'll see that TTL, which is when is this supposed to kick in. You say 60 seconds or half an hour, and so on. So let's create a new one. So you can have more than one subdomain. You just have to let EDUonGo know that I'm going to point a specific subdomain to your IP. So you just have to email them at info@eduongo.com. Let them know about your subdomain. But how do you actually point it in your registrar? So in GoDaddy, click on Add Record here. And then you'll have this overlay that is asking you what kind of records you'd like to change. We're going to say a host. Okay, click on that. This will open up the host. Now you are already at Udemy. So if you look here at the top, you are at the domain name. So you don't have to type the whole domain name in the subdomain. All you got to do is copy this and then paste it or write down your subdomain. So in this case, it's going to be online courses. And then point to whatever IP. So I'll copy the IP here. And then here for the TTL, go ahead and choose half an hour, depending on, when do you want this to kick in. So I'm going to say half an hour. I think half an hour is minimum with GoDaddy because I tried custom and then I put 10 seconds or 50 seconds. It didn't work. So I'll do half an hour and then say finish. So we're not going to add another subdomain. We're just going to hit finish. So now you want to make sure that you click on Save Changes. Otherwise, this is not going to kick in. So if I hit Save Changes, here we go. So now I created one more subdomain that's pointing to the same IP. And I already told EDUonGo that I am going to use the subdomain and point to your IP. So that's all you have to do. So in about half hour, this should work. Let me see if it kicks in right away. Sometimes it might kick in within seconds, so it's up to half hour. If I go online courses.udemy.com, hit enter, and guess what? It kicked in within seconds. So that's about it. We got our first subdomain working using the GoDaddy registrar. If you have any questions at all, again, email us at info@eduongo.com.